You might think it's just a harmless handful, but I've had patients who stood up, heard a crack in their hip, and thought it was just age. As a bone specialist, I'm seeing more seniors losing bone mass. Not from calcium deficiency, but from one snack that silently pulls minerals from their bones, spikes stress hormones, and accelerates fractures. And the worst part? Most eat it thinking, it's just a few. If you're over 60, you already know bones get thinner. But what most seniors don't realize is that tiny choices, like what you snack on while watching TV, can speed up bone loss dramatically. I've seen it in patients again and again. Quiet loss of height, aching joints, and sudden fractures, all while believing their bones were fine. The good news? One small food change can help reverse this process. In this episode, I'll show you the biological reason why it happens, and what to eat instead, starting tonight. 1. The snack that leaks your calcium like a faucet. You might think it's harmless, a small bowl while watching TV, or a quick bite between errands. But that harmless handful of chips or salty crackers may be quietly draining the very minerals your bones need to stay strong. Here's what most seniors don't realize. After age 60, your bones don't just get thinner because of aging, they get depleted, often because of sodium. Research from the MRC Cambridge Group in the UK, 2008, studied women over 60 when they consumed about 11 grams of salt per day, roughly the amount in a few ounces of processed snacks. Their bodies lost 40 milligrams of calcium through urine, and bone balance flipped from building to breaking. That's like a faucet leaking calcium straight out of your bones. Every time you reach for a salty snack, your kidneys flush out the mineral, instead of sending it to your bones. Now, imagine doing that every day. For Rosa, 71, that habit added up fast. She loved her afternoon crackers. Just a few with tea, she'd say. But after a minor fall, left her with a fractured wrist. Her bone scan revealed early osteoporosis. Her doctor didn't just recommend more calcium, he told her to cut the salt. So, what did she do? She swapped the crackers for a quarter cup of unsalted almonds. Suddenly, she wasn't just avoiding damage. She was supplying her bones with magnesium and plant calcium instead. Here's your first bone-saving habit. Replace one salty snack a day, even just 1 ounce, with a mineral-rich food like almonds or yogurt, and drink water when you do it. That simple shift reduces calcium loss and supports mineral absorption. But that's not even the surprising part. 2. It's just a little salt. Most people think it's harmless. They say, I don't add much salt to my food, or I only eat a few chips here and there. But what most people don't realize is this. After 60, even a little salt can do a lot of damage, because your bones aren't just reacting to salt. They're reacting to salt plus time, plus hormones, plus age-related changes. It's the multiplier effect, and it makes every bite count more than you think. In a landmark study by Harvard and Brigham researchers, 1998, older adults were placed on alternating low and high sodium diets. During the high salt phase, cortisol, your body's breakdown hormone, spiked. In fact, twice as many people entered a high cortisol state. And those people, they had the hardest time regulating their blood pressure and their calcium. This matters because cortisol doesn't just stress your mind, it slows down your osteoblasts, the cells that build bone, and activates osteoclasts, the cells that break bone down. It's like flipping the switch from repair to remove, without you ever knowing. Now here's the truth. Even just 1 gram of extra salt per day, the amount in a handful of salted crackers, can silently tip the scale. Rosa didn't know this either. She had switched to low-fat everything, but never checked the sodium. The crackers, soups, and snack bars in her pantry all looked healthy, until her scan said otherwise. So here's what I recommend to every patient. Check your labels. If sodium is over 200 milligrams per serving, and you're having more than one serving. Put it back. Choose fresh, cook at home, and flavor with herbs, not salt. It's not about going salt-free. It's about going bone-wise. This is when your cortisol flips the switch from bone building to bone breaking. 3. How salt quietly spikes your cortisol and shrinks your bones. By now, you've seen how salt drains calcium, but the deeper damage happens silently through your hormones, specifically one called cortisol, your body's stress alarm system. Normally, cortisol helps your body respond to danger, but in high doses, especially day after day, it becomes destructive. Back in 1998, researchers from Harvard and Brigham Women's Hospital ran a metabolic trial. They found that when sodium intake rose, cortisol levels surged by up to 25% in older adults. Even without stress, the salt itself acted like a trigger. Why does that matter? Because cortisol blocks the very cells that build your bones, the osteoblasts, and it supercharges the ones that break them down, the osteoclasts. It's like stepping on the gas pedal of destruction, while slamming the brakes on repair. Now imagine that cycle happening every time you eat salted nuts, canned soup, or deli meat. That was the case for Frank, 66. He didn't feel stressed, but he was snacking on salted pretzels every night, then waking up stiff, sore, and sluggish. His DEXA scan showed bone thinning in his lumbar spine. When we looked at his food log, the sodium was off the charts. So we made one small shift. He capped his daily sodium at 1,500 milligrams and drank a glass of water before each meal. 3 months later, his scan was stable, but more importantly, he felt lighter, less inflamed, and could get out of bed with ease. What you can do. Check sodium. Less than or equal to 1,500 milligrams per day is ideal. Hydrate. 2 to 2.5 liters per day to flush excess salt. Avoid prepackaged snacks unless labeled low sodium. It's not just what you eat, it's what your body feels after. 4. Your gut holds the key. And salt is the saboteur. By now, you know salt drains calcium and spikes cortisol. But there's one more place it attacks that most seniors never connect to bone health: your gut. Inside your digestive tract live trillions of friendly microbes, especially lactobacillus species. They're like peacekeepers, helping regulate inflammation, absorb minerals, and even signal bone-building hormones. But when you flood your system with too much sodium, those peacekeepers vanish. A 2021 rodent study using high-resolution micro-CT scans showed this clearly. Mice on an 8% salt diet had reduced lactobacillus, elevated Th17 immune cells, and lost 30% of their bone strength in just 5 months. Here's why. High salt doesn't just damage your kidneys or blood pressure. It triggers an immune flare in the gut, which sends bone-destroying cells, called osteoclasts, into overdrive. It's like tossing matchsticks into a dry forest. The fire doesn't stay in the gut. It spreads all the way to your bones. Dolores, 69, had no idea this was happening inside her. She had dealt with bloating and mild reflux for years, and recently began losing height, even though she walked daily and took calcium. We adjusted 2 things. She swapped her salted cheese crackers for Greek yogurt with cinnamon, and she started taking in 1 serving of fermented food per day, like kefir or sauerkraut. Within 6 weeks, her digestion calmed, and she reported fewer nighttime cramps in her calves and lower back. Here's what to try. After any salty meal, eat a probiotic-rich food within 30 minutes. Yogurt, kimchi, miso, kefir. That nourishes your gut microbiome and lowers inflammation. This is the part where healing starts feeling like home. 5. 1. Crunchy swap. That slows bone loss in 30 days. Let's bring this full circle We've seen how salt drains calcium, spikes cortisol, and inflames the gut. But there's one more silent culprit in this cascade: oxidative stress. As you age, your body's ability to repair oxidative damage slows down. Salt-heavy snacks, especially those fried in seed oils, add fuel to that fire. It's not just the salt, it's the combo of refined starch, sodium, and unstable fats. That turns your afternoon snack into a microscopic attack on your bones. The Tokyo Bone Mineral Density Study, 2023, tracked older adults over 12 months. Each additional gram of daily salt was linked to a measurable drop in bone strength, specifically a 0.9 meters per second decrease in bone density score within just 30 days. Think of your collagen as a thick rope holding your bones together. Now, imagine salt acting like rust, fraying those fibers strand by strand. But here's the good news: that damage is reversible. Rosa, the same woman who fractured her wrist, took this to heart. She began replacing her evening chips with air-popped popcorn sprinkled with turmeric and rosemary. Both are natural anti-inflammatories and help counter oxidative stress. She also added one more piece: 2.5 liters of water a day. Not soda, not juice, just filtered water. 6 weeks later, her mobility improved, and at her next scan, her bone score had stabilized. No further loss. Just steady, hopeful progress. Try this today. Snack swap: 3 cups air-pop popcorn plus olive oil drizzle. Add turmeric or herbs for antioxidant support. Hydrate: 2.5 liters across the day to flush sodium plus support collagen. Ignore this, and the symptoms often get worse without warning. So, what if it's not about cutting everything out, but simply choosing one smarter habit every day that protects your bones for the years ahead? Maybe it's the popcorn instead of chips, the yogurt instead of crackers, or just checking the label before tossing something in your cart. Small moves. But they matter more after 60 than ever before, because here's the truth: your bones are alive. They're listening, and they're rebuilding every time you make the right choice. Rosa did it, Frank did too, and so can you. What's one salty habit you're ready to swap this week? Drop it in the comments. Your tip might help someone else on their healing journey. And if you found this helpful, consider subscribing, because next week we're diving into something powerful: the 3 best drinks to rebuild collagen after 60, and how to use them after breakfast to boost bone strength all day. Until then, keep taking care of yourself. Your future, your freedom, depends on the choices you make today.